All right, what's going on? Hope everybody had a great weekend. This is ShanGO Ray, and I'm back with a most accurate Crossroad spread. Now it's early Monday, so I'm kind of paying homage to all like the Crossroad deities, the Crossroad energies, the energies that open the doors for us as well as close the doors to certain things. And these archetype messengers and things of that nature, such as Eshu Elegwa, Papa Legba, um, Ganesha, the list goes on and on. So let's get into it, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do, just take a deep breath. And after you do that, I want you, because many of you are at a crossroads right now. So this is why I came up with this. This is what was put on me to do for today. And even if you're not watching this on a Monday or whatnot, that's fine. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 20. 1 and 20, okay? And the first number that comes up, rock with that, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm going to kind of invoke this crossroad energy here. So, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all the way, right? All right, just one moment here, and then we're going to get into this spread. All right. I got my, these are like the Archangel deck, regular playing cards. Okay, so here we go. And also, I want you to keep in mind, whatever your particular crossroad situation is, as I'm doing this shuffle, okay? Now, what I'm going to do first and foremost, I'm picking 3 numbers between 1 and 20. If one of these numbers is your number, then you really need to pay attention. This is really for you. Now, however, having said that, just because your number doesn't come up, that doesn't mean that this still ain't for you. Okay, if it resonates with you, rock with it. My intention is to facilitate whatever needs to be known for whoever needs to know it. Okay? Now this is how I'm picking the numbers too, just right off the bat. Son of a bitch. Okay, so I'm doing 2 cards and then I'm adding them up. If it's over 20, then I'm adding them up down to 1 number. But as you see, we have a joker which has no numerical value, yet is any numerical value, and we have a 10. So the first number is 10. Okay, so let's do another number. Second number is 19. So we have 10 and we have 19. Okay. And the next number, 14. Now the reason I'm choosing 3 numbers is because one of my particular homeboys, who is a crossroad deity, Eshu Elegwa, his main number is 3 and variables are 3. So I'm kind of sticking with that. As you see, that's going to come into play a little bit afterwards. So let's do this spread now. Just one moment, folks. It gets better. Okay, let me do it. Since we're doing 3s, might as well do a 3 cut. All right. Then I will show you if it works out. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can get this, put this damn thing out. Okay, let me see if I can get this, if you can see, if it ain't shining too much. Oh, look at they glowing. What is this? Okay, well this is definitely an ace of clubs, but I don't know if you can see it. I've gotten some comments about my lighting. I don't have a professional studio, film studio in my house, so I do the best I can. There's a lot of dim lighting here. So, all right, The first, obviously, a crossroads is usually where two roads intersect. Okay, so for this first space, this ace of clubs, what is the main outcome that you really, really want out of this crossroads situation? Okay, bear with me, folks, as I just shut the hell up for a second. Okay, so what I'm getting, what Spirit's telling me right now for a select few of you, especially, not really a select few, but you know what I'm saying. Like I said, if it resonates, it resonates. If it take it, take it. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But there is some type of creative venture, some type of creative endeavor that you really want to get off the ground here. And they're telling me it has something to do with writing. Could even be songwriting. But some form of creative writing, creative expression as well, that is trying to be brought forth, trying to be birthed here. Okay? And that is the main outcome. That's the desire. Some of y'all out there, you have this desire in your heart, and this is where it's at. Okay? So we're going to go to this next area of the crossroad, and that is, what door do you need to close right now in order to make this crossroad situation come into more of a successful situation? Okay? Just one moment. I have to shut up and listen sometimes. I wish I could talk and just at the same time, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So just bear with me. There is an element of feeling, an emotion. I want to say it's like a survival mode. And this survival mode, it's an emotion of fear, because it definitely is not a stability. It is more like an insecurity. But it's actually more than an insecurity. It's more like it's like you're torn between your dream and like this survival mode. And there's an aspect of you that feels like if you go for your dream, you're going to starve and die. And you may have also responsibilities as well. And there's fear that you're going to let people down if you go for your dream, or if you go to birth this desire of your heart that you have that actually needs to come forth. hmm And it's very much an emotion, as far as you spend a lot of your day feeling like you're ripped in half, because half of you is in fantasy land thinking about birthing forth your desire, but the other half has to do what it feels it has to do. And you feel trapped and confined to the point where it's actually starting to infringe and impede your creativity. So this other space here, the other aspect of the crossroad here that we're dealing with, is what is the hidden influence subconsciously working against you here. And in this space right here, we have, of course, how apropos, we have the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades, one of the things that the Ace of Spades signifies, and if you notice, sometimes secret orders and stuff use the Ace of Spades as their little calling card or whatnot. That's because it also represents secrets. And of course, the question is, what is the hidden influence subconsciously working against you here? So let's dive into this. One moment. I know. Dead air. It's not really cool when you're broadcasting or whatnot, but this is not your typical broadcast, so oh well. Okay, for one, you don't feel like you really deserve this, or you don't, there's something inside you, and this goes way back to your childhood, like to your first 7 years to be specific. And it's buried so deep and it's been living with you all this time. That's why you'll notice that you reach maybe a certain ceiling or level of success, but the moment you go higher than that, it's almost as if you self-sabotage yourself to go back down to that one point. The same way that if you start doing bad, something will kick in you and bring you back up to this kind of one particular zone, this one particular area. But the secret here has to do with your own, for one, how you see yourself, your self identity, and it also has to do with your sense of deserving. And then that kind of has branches to it, because then it's like, well, I'm not good enough as a person. Am I good enough at my particular art or form of expression or art that I'm pursuing to, make this endeavor pop with? And it's been like this little shadow figure in the background oftentimes. But right now it's running just below, kind of like just below your consciousness. You kind of had this feeling about this. They call it the saboteur also, but it's not really the saboteur. It's more also, before we go and start bashing on Mr. Ace of Spades, Mr. Ace of Spades or Mrs. Ace of Spades is really, you suffered some major disappointment. I mean, heartbreaking disappointment at I'm going to say between 3 and 5. And though you may consciously even remember it, but you don't know how deeply it impacted you and on how many levels. So that's kind of the birthplace for Mr. or Mrs. Ace of Spades, Ace of Spades secrets here. Um, it started off as a defense mechanism because that pain at that time, for that inner little child you, it was unbearable. And Mr. or Mrs. Ace of Spades was birthed to actually protect you. But now, even though the intention, the root intention is to protect you, it's actually stifling you. And, walls can keep intruders out, but also lock you in. So, the fourth spot here, I don't want to ramble on too much here, is where is the sweet spot in this situation, in this crossroads, that will give you the best leverage to success here. Now, what that means is, in any given situation, at any given time, there is what I call the sweet spot. Most of us aren't aware of the sweet spot, so we are busy delving out our energy in all these different areas. Kind of like, oh, here's a little there, here's a little there, here's a little whatever. But there is one place in particular, and now this ain't, it's not a constant. At different times, it's at a different area, it's in a different place. But if we just focus some of our energy on this sweet spot, we will get massive leverage for a massive shift. So that's why I call it the sweet spot. So, what is the sweet spot here in this situation that will give you the best leverage to success here? Excuse me, my nose. Okay, just let me tune into this. We have a nine of spades. Definitely. Okay, the nine of spades, what is screaming to me, imagine you're a rocket ship and you got this thick chain tied to your rocket, and the other side is tied to this massive stone. Now, most of us want to put more gas, give it more thrust, try harder, try harder, try harder. But in reality, the leverage in a situation like that, cut the chain. Cut the chain and you will take off. Okay? So, your leverage point here is exploring some ways to cut that chain. Not to mention it's a 9, which is a number of death, and death is really just another fancy word for transition and transformation. So I'm going to give you a bit of advice. Also, the spade represents, for me in my particular ever evolving cartomancy system, fire. I think you need to have a little barbecue with some of these things. And you could do something as simple as just, give yourself just, even 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and think about this ace of clubs here, what the main thing is that you want, or what is presenting itself as the main thing for you right now, and see what else comes up. There's going to be something that's coming up, because I'm willing to bet my left pocket that when you think of this endeavor, it's not like a clear feeling of just, oh yeah, joy. It's clear. Like, it's a mixed signal. There's the happiness that you think of really working, living your particular form of expression or whatever it is. But then there's this other, like, icky feeling that comes up as well. And you know what? A lot of these icky feelings come from these little sub vocalizations that you don't even know. It's kind of like if you have a fan on in the background for so long, you stop hearing the fan. These sub vocalizations are exactly the same way. they're invisible to you because they're right in front of your face, like your nose. So explore the icky bullshit that comes up along with when you're thinking about this. Okay, so we're using these two together. We're using this to draw these out. And what we're going to do is we're simply going to write down on a piece of paper or something all these thoughts, all these ideas. It doesn't matter. You can even just non-filter it and just let it go. Just write it out. Write it out. And then you're going to burn them. And that is symbolic of transforming them, releasing them. Fire transforms stuff as well. So fire is a very transformative thing. Excuse me. But you're going to use the transformation of fire, the symbolic transformation of fire. So that's what I have for you right now. Okay? So for you with the 3 numbers, or even if just something from this, if you could take something from this, hey, I'm happy. Okay? Now, I'm going to do a very, very, very quick shameless plug as well. I stopped doing this quite a long time ago, but for those of you who have 1 to 3 questions you would like answered, for those of you who are interested, there is a secret link below. Okay, if you go to my website, you're not going to see this on my website because I don't do this, but Spirit put it on me to offer this for whoever may be ready for this, or whoever, you know, wants to take advantage of this. So you can ask me between 1 to 3 questions. Okay, and it's not a consultation, because when you sign up, I'm going to record your reading on an MP3. It gives you a record of it, so that way you can refer back to it. As I've stated before to different people, it's like watching a movie. You know, you always miss shit at first. So I don't know how long I'm going to leave this up. Might be a day, might be 2 or 3 days. I'm not sure. I'm going to let Spirit kind of guide me on that. But it's only $25. And it's for those who are real busy. You know, maybe they don't want a full consultation. They just have 1 to 3 questions. Now, in that, I want to say, it also gives you a chance to really, I always say the power is in the question. So formulate really good questions, you know, as opposed to asking, will this happen? Will that happen? A more powerful question one could ask is something like, what can I do to ensure my success in this? Or, you know, things of that nature. They direct your attention, and where attention goes, energy flows. So in addition to that, those who are, you know, kind of about it right about now and really want to get their questions answered, in addition to receiving their own MP3, which is usually between 10 to 15 minutes long. It's no longer than 15 minutes, but it's usually 10 to 15 minutes long. They're also going to receive a free copy, an advanced free copy of my new booklet that's going to be coming out on Amazon. It's called Winning with Worry: 3 Magic Steps to Transform Your Worry in 72 Hours or Less. And it's for you worry wards. I actually came up with this myself because about a year and a half ago, it was really messing with me a lot as far as my mind and worrying. So what this book is going to teach you, it's very, very simple. It's a very, very quick read, because I want you to experience it. I really do. I could write a book about riding a bike. I could film myself riding a bike. Hey, look at me. But until you get on the bike and ride it and experience it and integrate that experience into yourself, that's when you evolve yourself. That's when you change. That's when you transform. It's through the experience. So This whole book is about actually making friends and making peace with your worry. Because just like in your car, when a light comes on that's warning you about something, that light is not the enemy. It's just simply alerting you to something. Something needs your attention. That's what the worry is. The problem is we just allow our minds to basically just run on autopilot, and it becomes more habitual. And then when it starts consuming, you're using a lot of your processing power to just go in these loops of worry. That's when it becomes problematic. So, but the truth of the matter is, instead of trying to banish worry, I say let's banish it by transforming it, because that worry actually has some keys to success for you. It's trying to give you something. So that's what this book is all about, is learning how to leverage, strategize, and transform your worry in a very, very, very simple manner. You can begin to do it 10 minutes after you get the book. And it's very simple, and I promise you, at first you're going to experience these little tiny gaps of quietness, of clarity, even on the first day and second day. But as you get momentum, these gaps are going to grow. And the gaps of silence, where you just kind of shut the monkey mind down, that's when you start being able to hear your own intuition and stuff like that. And that's when you start getting insights, and that's when you start getting ideas. And not to mention, you just feel better. You know, it's good to just turn that shit off sometimes. So, any of you out there, if you're interested, there's a secret link in the bottom just for you. If not, I hope you enjoyed or got something from this particular Crossroad spread. I trust that you did. This is ShanGO Ray, and I will be at you soon. So there you are. Peace.